I'm back.
Blog Talk Radio.
Kev. Monaco.
This is Team Gooch, and we're in WGS, the best running wrestling and gaming radio show ever, only on Blog Talk Radio. And if you don't like anything we say or do, 1, we respect your opinion. 2, fuck you.
This is Nick Bondage, and you're listening to WGS Radio, Blog Talk Radio.
GCW presents live 100% chance of pain. July 23rd, the American Legion Hall at 3319 Veteran Memorial Drive in Abbeville, Louisiana. For more ticket information, call 337-366-7480.
WGS Radio is on the air. And I am back, ladies and gentlemen. The one, the only Double B, Billy Boudreaux, back here on WGS Radio.
Billy!
It's exactly right, as we are getting set for TNA Slammiversary tonight, live on pay-per-view. And, of course, whenever there's a pay-per-view, you got to be right here on WGS Radio for our breakdown and prediction show of TNA Slammiversary. Let's go ahead and get a round of introductions, or just one introduction so far. We have Studley Man Ashley, and I have to go on public record and say thank you to Ashley. Over the past week, there was a certain set of arrangements that happened where I was unable to make any of the shows this week until today. So, Ashley, I want to go on record and saying thank you for taking the ball and running with it this week and hosting the show.
No worries. Pretty busy show. Pretty busy week, what with E3 and all that, but hopefully I can calm down tonight. Except I can't, because, you say if you're watching it live on pay-per-view, judging by the figures that are coming in for pay-per-view buys, not many people are watching it on pay-per-view. They're watching it via other means.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there are three ways you can get in on this pay-per-view prediction show. One is to call in to 914-803-4615. That is 914-803-4615. Number 2, I just said number 2. Anyway, number 2, you can log into Skype and call us via Skype. It is a free call, and you can also go in
free.
And, well, somebody's taking a dump. Anyway, number 3, you can log in to blogtalkradio.com/WGS Radio, get into our chat room, and we will read your comments out loud for the podcast. So,
police special prize. No, just kidding.
And, ladies and gentlemen, our favorite NASCAR expert is here. It's WWE Fan. WWE Fan, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Sounds like he's on a NASCAR track with the noise that we had at the start of that.
Yeah, it was either that or Jordan was calling us from his toilet. Anyway, let's get started. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen.
He might have a toilet on his NASCAR. I don't know.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and get started by previewing our first match. And the first match we're going to do,
I think we'd actually better change from what I've heard, we might as well go with this one first because it's the first match on the card. This is a tweet from Impact Wrestling. Tonight's pay-per-view is currently scheduled to, I'm surprised this is going to be, it's going to begin with the World Tag Team title match with the British Invasion taking on James Storm and Alex Shelley.
Wow, interesting move.
At the start. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting move here. For one thing, over the past several weeks, we haven't seen the British Invasion do anything on a number 1 tag team title shot unless they probably did it, on Explosion. So, but Robert Roode, or a.k.a. Bobby Roode, apparently they're calling him now in Impact Wrestling, which is another thing I don't understand why, past 4 years we've been calling it Robert Roode, now we're going to call him Bobby Roode. Make up your minds, TNA. Anyway.
Oh, Canada.
So basically, Alex Shelley stepped to the plate and You know, we had their first tag team match. It was back on Impact Wrestling. James Storm and Alex Shelley, they were taking on Mexican America, and they didn't fare too well. But, you know, logistically speaking, if I can call it that, it looked good out there. Performance-wise, James Storm and Alex Shelley, they really knew what they were doing. I didn't see too many double team moves from them, but hopefully we might be able to see something from that tonight. Now, will TNA keep the titles with James Storm and, well, Alex Shelley, or gun money, or beer money, or beer guns, or I don't know, or whatever they're going to call themselves now? I would think so. British Invasion, this is basically their, I think I would say probably their first match together on pay-per-view in quite some time. About 6 or 7 months, maybe? Because we haven't seen Douglas Williams. Well, we've seen Douglas Williams with the X Division title when he was at Fortune, and he did a fantastic job with that. He didn't start out too good, but he slowly developed into a pretty good X Division champion. But we haven't seen Brutus Magnus since his days with Desmond Wolfe, and that really didn't pan out too well either. So I'm going to have to go with beer guns. Beer guns are going to have to be my pick to keep the titles. Ashley, what do you think?
Well, the pick I originally made for another little thing that I'm in with one of my friends was for British Invasion to come out on top, because I think they're going to play on the instability between Storm and Shelley. Or beer guns, whatever. Yeah, it was called beer guns for the heck of it. But I also didn't take into account that, one, it'd be the first match on the card, of which you very rarely see title changes, and two, the Mexican-America situation. Because Hernandez threatened to Hogan, you know, we deserve our shot at the titles. So I've got a feeling, but I'm going to, you know, I can't change my original pick, but on this show, I'm going to change the pick to Storm and Shelley to retain, either by clean victory or via interference from Mexican America, and the match gets called off.
Dirty Fan, what do you think?
Beer guns.
You going to stick with beer guns? Any particular reason?
No reason.
It's just a gut feeling?
He likes beer and he likes guns. He's a hillbilly, come on.
By the way, guys, WWE Fan has a YouTube channel. I want you guys to check it out. It's youtube.com/21JordanFan. Am I saying that correctly? Is it 21JordanFan?
Yeah.
So be sure you guys...
21 card coming up on the rear.
Be sure you guys check it out. Not only does he he does his own little wrestling thing on there, he also talks a lot of NASCAR. Be sure you check him out. YouTube.com/21JordanFan. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get involved on our little conversation we're having for TNA Slammiversary, 914-803-4615. That is 914-803-4615. Or you can call in via Skype, or you can log into our chat room, blogtalkradio.com/WGS-Radio, and get your picks in via the chat room. Let's take a look at this match here. This matchup I found rather intriguing for some reason. It's Matt Morgan and Scott Steiner. Now, they've been building this one up pretty good for the past few weeks. You know, apparently, with this storyline, apparently Steiner's turned heel in this one. They used him to...
has he?
Well, he's been booed quite a bit, considering the fact that he's done a lot of stuff, especially with Jeff Jarrett, and helping Jeff Jarrett get a win over Matt Morgan the past couple of weeks on Impact Wrestling over Matt Morgan.
Yeah, but they were cheering Anderson for God knows how long, and then as soon as he's in the title hunt, they boo him. Although, from what I heard, it was piped-in crowd noise. I think the crowd were chanting, you know, cheering for him as well.
Well, we might discuss that a little bit more when we get to Anderson and Sting's match. But anyway, I think we do have a new caller here. Let's go ahead and get this caller on the line. Caller on line 1, you're on the air with WGS Radio. How you doing tonight?
What's going on?
All right, may I ask who is this and where are you from?
Oh, this is Ralph from New York.
Rob, how you doing tonight, Rob?
No, Ralph.
Ralph. Okay, Ralph.
Apologies.
Okay, Ralph, how you doing tonight, Ralph?
I'm doing okay.
Well, we're discussing TNA Slammiversary and the pay-per-view tonight, and, well, first thing, we already had one match. I wonder if you could give us your thoughts on it. The TNA Tag Team match with beer guns, you know, James Storm, Alex Shelley, going against the British Invasion of Douglas Williams and Brutus Magnus. You know, we always like to give our callers a chance to put in their picks before we get up to the current match we're talking about.
Well, I don't know, because I think about TNA lately because of all the stuff that's been going on, but I would say James Storm and whoever else is tag team with him, I guess.
All right, currently the match we're discussing is Matt Morgan and Scott Steiner. Now, apparently over the past couple of weeks, they used this storyline to turn Scott Steiner heel. You know, a lot of people don't agree with that, but, you know, Steiner, I always found, was more effective as a heel in wrestling. I think the only time he was ever effective in wrestling as a face is when he was a tag team with his brother, Rick, and they were the Steiner brothers. Then ever since then, he turned heel, you know, with the NWO and WCW, and he was really effective with that. Then he was face for a little while in the WWE, but after that he was heel. He did a lot of stuff with the late great Andrew Martin. So a lot of stuff with the Main Event Mafia. He was heel, and apparently they're going to turn him heel. They'll probably effectively use him more. What would you say about this match right here, Ralph? Scott Steiner and Matt Morgan. What do you see the outcome of this match going?
I think it would be Matt Morgan because I know for a fact that Scott Steiner can't even sit in a car right now, like, without feeling pain, so that would kind of, I don't know if he could wrestle anymore, put on a good match, so I'm pretty certain that's not gonna, you know, it's not gonna go the way of Steiner here. But I would say Matt Morgan needs to be more like Goldberg these days because, I mean, if he just constantly talks on the mic, he comes off as a wimp, he comes off as a wuss, and he constantly talks like, I mean, I could curse on here, right?
Yeah, we kind of let the F-bombs fly every now and again on here.
Well, he kind of looks like a bitch, honestly, because, I mean, the guy, he talks with a tone of voice, and he talks with how do you say, like, no disrespect, and then he's like talking crap with the repercussions, without the repercussions of talking crap, and if you're Matt Morgan, you shouldn't be afraid of people, you know, doing anything to you, like for saying, you know, stuff to them. So I don't see the point in having to talk at all. Get him a mouthpiece or something like that. Get him Madison Rain even, because Madison Rain's voice is pretty annoying or whatever, and you could use that. And it makes me wonder if his foot could fit in her, you know what, but that's another story.
Well, physically, Matt Morgan can go in the ring, but a lot of people do share the same sentiment as you, Ralph, with Matt Morgan's mic skills, and they do need a tremendous amount of work. And Matt would be a really good, you know, fit for him. You know, get him a manager to talk for him. Ashley, what are your thoughts about this one, Matt Morgan and Scott Steiner?
My honesty is it's been creeping up and it's kind of interesting, but for me, it's like the weakest one on the card because there's other ones which have had more build and seem more interesting because this is basically just like a bragging rights match, in my opinion. But considering that 2 weeks ago on Impact, you had that whole Kurt and Jeff and Karen being pushed off the stage. While that was happening, Steiner low-blowed Morgan, and Steiner got the win over Morgan. I think tonight you're going to see the tables turned on that situation, and Morgan's going to get the victory over Steiner.
I would have to agree with you. I'm going to have to go with Matt Morgan on my pick for that one. But if they really need to, if they start pushing him more, I'm going to have to agree with Ralph. They have to get him a mouthpiece. They have to get somebody to talk for him, or have him really work on his mic skills, because his mic skills are not very strong. Physically, yeah, he's really great. Physically in the ring, he can pull off the moves, and he's got great execution of the moves, and he knows all of his spots. But you know, mic skills, he needs work. He does need some work. WWE fan, what are your thoughts about Matt Morgan and Scott Steiner?
Matt Morgan.
Any particular reason?
Just he's more better than Steiner. More better.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Ralph, I want to start with you. Would it be considered kind of big in Matt Morgan's career to be put over by Scott Steiner? Ralph? Ralph, are you there?
I'm sorry, what happened?
All right, my question to you is, would it be big for Matt Morgan in his career to be put over by Scott Steiner tonight?
Not that much, because, I mean, Scott Steiner, people know how Scott Steiner is physically, so it wouldn't do him too much good, but maybe have some other people put him over, it would help him a bunch.
Ashley, would you agree with that?
I wouldn't see it as a huge push, because Steiner, I think, is probably close to having his last run and possibly leaving wrestling because, you know, he's getting on.
Oh, I have to disagree with you guys just on one thing. I believe Scott Steiner's name in pro wrestling still carries a lot of weight with them, and especially, you know, considering everything he's done over his career, you know, not only as a tag team wrestler, but as a singles wrestler, and to have someone like Scott Steiner, you know, doesn't matter in what physical condition he's in, you know, just to have that person with that kind of a name, Steiner, put you over, it's got to be worth something to this person's career.
It's certainly worth better than being pushed over by Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan or Ultimate Warrior at this time.
I wouldn't even put Ultimate Warrior in the same boat as Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair right now. But that'll be a discussion for another show. But anyway, let's get on to the next match here. As a match that I think they've been building up quite good on this one. They're hard to tell who's face and who's heel, but it's just an explosive match, and I can't wait to check this one out. Crimson and Samoa Joe. Now, this one has been built up for quite some time. Crimson is still billed as the undefeated guy, and Samoa Joe was, you know, when he first came into TNA, he was, of course, undefeated for months and months and months. And now, they've done a lot of great build-ups. They've done a lot of great matches, match beatdowns, rather, for Crimson and Samoa Joe. And not only that, we've got to take into account the YouTube video that appeared. Well, they say it appeared from somebody else's YouTube and got it on Impact Wrestling, which I find is a load of bull, if you kind of know what I mean. But, you know, the bar fight with Samoa Joe and Crimson. But, you know, if they still build Crimson to be the undefeated guy, and if they have a lot of stock in Crimson with TNA, I would have to figure that Crimson's going to go over on Samoa Joe. Ashley, what are your thoughts on it?
What? Hold on.
I'm doing my show!
Awkward. My pick. Well, for this one, I'm thinking. I mean, given there's been some rumors Crimson and people like Gunner and what's his name, Rude and everything, keep being given big pushes in the company. But given the push, I have to say that they're going to keep this winning streak going on Crimson, and I think Samoa Joe is going to acknowledge that, yeah, actually Crimson probably is the better man, and this is going to be a decent little sign of respect from Samoa Joe in the Crimson. Crimson to me is kind of like what Matt Morgan needs to be, like Ralph was saying, with the Goldberg kind of character. And literally, he is like Goldberg because he doesn't say a heck of a lot, and he's on a streak, which I could see going on for quite a bit. Only problem is, normally after a streak is finished, that normally means the end of a company. I mean, if that's what happened with WCW and Goldberg, so we'll have to wait and see. But my pick is for Crimson to win.
Oh, let's go to Ralph. Ralph, your thoughts about this one, Crimson and Samoa Joe?
I think Crimson, because Crimson, he's on his way up, and Samoa Joe, he's at the point where he doesn't have anything left for himself. And I got turned off to him the second they gave him KO. They tried to constantly reboot him again and again and again. It's a huge disappointment to see how his career went out.
All right, let's go to WWE Fan. WWE Fan, your thoughts about Crimson and Samoa Joe?
The match probably beats them.
Can you repeat that, WWE Fan? Because I didn't quite make it.
Yeah.
Oh, Crimson wins.
Crimson wins. Ralph, are you having like a little get-together right now for TNA Slammiversary? Because it sounded like you had a lot of people in your background.
No, I actually I try to mute my phone, like, the second I'm done talking. I try to always mute my phone. Sorry, it was just my little brothers. They were asking me questions.
All right, that's cool. Well, the next matchup we're going to take a look at is the TNA Knockouts Championship match. Mickie James defending against Angelina Love. Now, the sole purpose they built to this match was the fact that Angelina Love pinned Mickie James on the last Impact Wrestling in the TNA Knockouts Tag Team match. Now, I've gone it on record time in and time out, and I will say this, the knockouts are much more entertaining to watch than the WWE Divas. Now, they're trying to do something to spark a little bit of life into the WWE Divas, but they got to do a lot, considering the fact that now Karma is out for the rest of the year and a good part of 2012 with her being pregnant. Who the father is, Maybe we'll ask Byron Wilcott. Anyway,
I think Karma's people have basically said it isn't him. He needs to retract that. But I haven't heard anything from that yet, so.
But interesting way to see where they're going to go with this one. Mickie James has been on quite the push they had so far in TNA as the Knockouts champion. Angelina Love is almost like a female Undertaker in a sense because, whenever she gets knocked around, she doesn't feel it. She doesn't move. So that's the kind of, she's also trying to develop the zombie eyes. And all I can say about the Angelina Love winner storyline, we've been saying it for months, it's just completely out of the box. I mean, it's just out there, and I don't know if it's appropriate enough to put on TNA. Well, then again, it's TNA Impact Wrestling. Will they put the TNA Knockouts Championship on Angelina Love tonight? I don't quite see that happening. And let me tell you why. I think they probably want to squash the storyline first between Angelina Love winner. You get that storyline done up and finished. Maybe have a, when Angelina Love comes out of the trance or something like that. But as far as putting the title on her during this storyline with her and winner, I just don't see it happening. I really don't see it happening. I don't think it would be a good move to have Mickie James drop it to Angelina Love, although I like Mickie James to drop something, but not a title belt, if you know what I mean. Anyway, I see Mickie James just retaining the title, either by a clean win or somehow winner gets involved and gets Angelina Love disqualified. That's going to be my pick, is Mickie James retains the title. Ashley, what do you think?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they gave Angelina the title in some weird move, because there's so many different storylines going on in the Divas division, and also you've got to take into account that the knockout tag team belts seemingly don't exist now. Anything could happen, but my pick is Mickie James will retain, again, either via a clean victory or via interference. I'm guessing Madison Rayne could somehow get involved because she could, feel that victory, when she lost the title within about a minute at TNA Lockdown, she might still get peeved off about that. So I'm saying Mickey's going to retain. But I wouldn't be surprised if Angelina suddenly came in and went, I'm taking the title.
All right, well, let's go to Ralph from New York. Ralph, what are your thoughts about the TNA Knockouts Championship match defending against Angelina Love?
Mickie James, I always think of Arby's roast beef number 6 when I see her. That joke never gets old. She always provides anybody with jokes about that. But what I'm saying for her is there's a lot of weird turns with that storyline. Like, I do agree that the storyline's kind of weird with Angelina getting drugged and now she looks like a malnourished puppy and all that stuff. It's kind of tragic how they go about that storyline. But I think the power of hardcore country triumphs over everything. So I'll say Mickie James for the win.
All right. Cool. The Knockouts title match, Mickie James defending against Angelina Love.
Mickie James.
All right, well, guys, we have reached the halfway point in the card of the pay-per-view, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a short timeout. When we come back, Sting defends the title against Mr. Anderson. Will he retain, or will the asshole become the champion? Kurt Angle's Olympic gold medal is on the line, as well as the #1 contendership for the TNA World title. Will Kurt Angle keep the gold, or will Jeff Jarrett become an Olympian? Division or Xtreme Championship, Abyss defending against Kazarian and Brian Kendrick. And, of course, who will be the last man standing, AJ Styles or Bully Ray? We'll give our thoughts on it when we come back. You're listening to WGS Radio, Blog Talk Radio.
This is Scott Phoenix, and you're listening to WGS Radio, Blog Talk Radio.
That I got rug burn on my penis. after what happened to his uncle Eddie Guerrero back in November.
While at a nature's preserve, beware of the granny wasp.
I don't combine my liquor, or else I get a, bad case of Montezuma's revenge.
And that's why we call it Wrestling Talk with an Edge. It's The Rant, live every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern on Blog Talk Radio and Go Fight Live.
This is Team Cooch, and we're in WGS, the best running wrestling and gaming radio show ever, only on Blog Talk Radio. And if you don't like anything we say or do, 1, we respect your opinion. 2, fuck you.
Big 3 News. Visit us on the web at big3news.net and big3news.com. To contact us during the show, use the interactive chat window or call us on Skype at 440-249-6397. That's 440-249-NEWS. Skype users use the Skype ID of Big3 News. To make your own contribution to the show, email Big3 News at info@big3news.net. To stay connected with us after the show, be sure to download our community toolbar and get access to all of our social links like Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, and YouTube. Thanks for watching, and thanks for contributing to Big 3 News.
This year, you'll hear artists like these on Rock and Waves 11-2-94. Don Henley. Raiden Frost. The Rolling Stones. Frank Zappa.
Hey there, people, I'm Bobby Brown. They say I'm the cutest boy in town.
Yours truly, Fenwick Mouse. The hits old and new are being played all throughout 2011 on Rock and Waves 11-2-94. Listen online every Friday from 1 to 5. Every Saturday from 10 p.m. until the party ends. Go to blogtv.com/people/Quizmaster1 to listen in on all the hilarity.
Interesting side note, WWE fan aspires to be Fenwick the Mouse.
This is the original ECW hardcore chair swinging freak, and you're listening to the hottest place on the internet for wrestling and video games. You know it, it's the Wrestle Gamer Show. It's right here on Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome back to this very special TNA Slammiversary 2011 Breakdown and Prediction Show. I'm Double B, and I worship the ground. Chuck Norris walks on. Shouldn't you? We got Ralph from New York, WWE fan, and Ashley here with us for this very special Breakdown and Prediction Show. So we got a lot to get to in this second half, so let's go ahead and get started with the TNA X Division, or as Abyss coined it on the last Impact Wrestling, Xtreme Championship. Abyss defending against both Kazarian and Brian Kendrick. Now, I will say this, the segment they did on Impact Wrestling, I think I need like a philosophical dictionary just to try to translate what Abyss and Kendrick were talking about. Jeez! I mean, I've never heard so many unused words in the English language since ever.
Yeah, Jim.
Anyway, it's very interesting to see where they're going to go with this one. Now, I thought when they put the X Division title on Abyss, they were just pretty much shitting on the grave of the X Division, and but maybe calling it the Xtreme Division and going with Xtreme Championship might not be a bad idea. It could be a new thing they could coin with the TNA and the X Division to try to, not only revitalize it, give it like a new look and stuff like that. But will Kazarian or Brian Kendrick get the title? I don't think Kendrick's going to get the title tonight. Kazarian's been a great X Division champion, even though we haven't seen him defend the X Division title that many times over the past couple of months. But essentially, this is Abyss's second title defense because his first one was against Brian Kendrick. But will they keep the title on Abyss? Now, if they really want to go with this Xtreme division and call it the Xtreme Championship in TNA, then in all likelihood, they're going to keep the title on Abyss. But if it's just like some Abyss is coining and they're just going to keep it as the X Division, then I'll probably see Kazarian winning the championship. But 95% of me is going to go with Abyss retaining the title. Ashley, what do you think?
Well, 100% of me is agreeing with your 95% because Abyss is going to win this. They're going to continue the story of how, the X Division is dead. You know, Xtreme will live on. And, of course, the next pay-per-view we've got is Destination X, which is going to be all X Division still, I believe, and with the six-sided ring. What I think is somebody like AJ or Samoa Joe is basically going to come from the past of X Division, come back down and basically say, I came from X Division. If it wasn't for the X Division, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I am challenging you, Abyss, to the belt in the six-sided ring at Destination X. And that's where I think Abyss will drop the belt. So I say Abyss to retain tonight.
Let's go to Ralph from New York. Ralph, your thoughts about this one? Abyss defending the X Division, or as he called it, the Xtreme Championship, in a three-way match against Kazarian and Brian Kendrick.
First off, before anything, I noticed you have an ad of the rant or whatever. You actually listen to them? I'm a regular participant in that show.
Like on the rant with Double A?
Yeah.
I listened to his show. He's got a really great show. We had him in for our last breakdown and prediction show for TNA, and basically he said he would rather have us covering paint drying than doing a TNA breakdown and prediction show. But, we're always glad to listen to his show, and we're always glad to have Double A on this show because he's always got a lot to say, and we always enjoy hearing his side and what he has to say on each match. But I'm just going with what I have and what I have listed in front of me.
Oh, well, Mr. Piss, because that's all I call him, because every time he comes on, it's a piss break you got to take, because that's what a segment is worth. I'll start off with that. And, well, honestly, I don't care, because the thing is, they took a crap on the X Division, and I don't know why they had that as their biggest draw, and that's what drew in some wrestlers to actually come into their company. And the fact being that they decided to take a crap on it and take a crap on one of their marquee type of things in their shows, it kind of bugs me, and it disappoints me, seriously, because now they're trying to use an excuse to bring back the ECW style of wrestling, which at one point was effective, but it's not anymore because it doesn't have all the things that made it great. It didn't have the technical matches with it. It just had he's just throwing in all kinds of ridiculous weapons and using whatever reason to cut himself. I mean, not too long ago, he was acting like Green Lantern with the damn ring, so I don't know what to think about that anymore.
But, yeah, he now that you think about it, yeah, he kind of was acting like the Green Lantern with the ring. That's a pretty good analogy right there, Ralph. But anyway, wait, just go on record quickly, Ralph. What's your pick for the match?
I would just pick maybe Kaz. He would probably, if he's part of the match, because I totally it's just one of those things I totally tune myself out to because they don't give it any respect. But if Kaz is in the match, he's the one to win. Otherwise, a piss.
Well, Derby fan has left the line. I don't know if he's having internet problems or whatnot, but let's go ahead and get to the next match we're going to look at here. Yeah, Ralph, essentially, like I said, I'm just going to pick a match and we're just going to talk about it. We're not essentially going in the order of the pay-per-view card, but the next match we're going to look at is the last man standing match between AJ Styles and Bully Ray. Now, they've been building up this angle for months, ever since the powerbomb off the stage through a table back in March. They've done a lot of good stuff with AJ Styles and Bully Ray. I expect nothing short of a 5-star match between these two. These two know what they're doing, especially when it comes to like an extreme type of environment that they could be looking at in a last man standing match. I mean, no rules, no DQ, no countouts. You know, you have to beat down your opponent until he doesn't answer a 10 count. And both men have been in those typical type of matches, especially with Bully Ray's history in ECW, and we all know the history of AJ Styles and a lot of the matches he's been in his career in TNA. Now, who will be the last man standing? It's going to be really tough to say, whoa, WWE fan is back, and hopefully his microphone will fix. Anyway, I'd say AJ Styles, because essentially it would be a slap to the face of the Bully Ray character. You know, he's been going on weeks, saying that he's going to be the last man standing, that he's the toughest because he's a bully and stuff like that. But, when I think about everything that's been going through, I really see AJ Styles being the last man standing. I don't see Bully Ray doing it. Ashley, what do you think?
Absolutely agree with you. I think AJ's come out on top to basically get revenge on him being put through those tables right before lockdown 2-3 months back. This, for me, is going to be the most entertaining match because AJ and Bully Ray can do a lot of stuff that could go anywhere in the arena. I've got a feeling the finale bit, where we're going to get the last man standing result, be somewhere with regards to on the stage kind of thing. I'm guessing AJ may even try and do a Styles clash off the stage onto tables below up from Bully Ray. If that's the finish, you heard it here first. But yeah, that's my pick.
Yeah, that would be a hell of a finish.
AJ to be standing and Bully Ray to have his penis in his mouth.
But that would be a hell of a finish. A Styles clash through a table off the stage. Ralph in New York. Ralph, what are your thoughts on the last man standing match? AJ Styles taking on Bully Ray.
Well, I thought originally when the Dudleys split up, I thought that, because I still refer to them as the Dudleys because that was their best time, but I thought that Devon was going to be the one to actually be the golden boy, and then next thing you know, you see Bully Ray right here. He's shining, despite how ridiculous his name sounds. I mean, I'm digging it a lot, and I'm hoping.
We lost WWE fan. I'm sorry, we lost Ralph from New York here. But WWE fan, before we get your thoughts on the last man standing match, your pick for the TNA X Division or Xtreme Championship, as Abyss is calling it. Abyss defending against Kazarian and Brian Kendrick.
Kaz.
You're gonna go with Kaz. I think when Ralph was making his thoughts known on that match, actually, I could have sworn I heard like a rumble, and he possibly had something going on with his phone. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I think he might have received a message on his phone at the same time, and given how your iPhone suddenly cuts out when you get a message with Skype, or with a standard phone call, it might be like that. So,
ladies and gentlemen, he's here for tonight. It's the Shining Star, Rick Starr. Rick, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. What's going on, guys? I figured with tonight's pay-per-view, I figured I'd have to do a quick vlog, and I figured I'd come on for the show and see what's going on.
All right, before we go to you, Rick, let's go to WWE fan. WWE fan, your thoughts for the last man standing match, AJ Styles and Bully Ray.
AJ Styles gets his revenge.
All right, now, the first match we talked about tonight was the TNA Tag Team title match. The British Invasion, Douglas Williams, and Brutus Magnus taking on James Storm, Alex Shelley, or as we called them, the Beer Guns.
Gun money, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little suspicious of this because, who else is, I was looking at TNA, I'm sorry, it's called Impact.com now. And who else was on the poster? It was, Chris Sabin was also on the poster of Slammiversary.
Yeah, but with his torn ACL and his torn meniscus, and he's going to be out for 6 months, and this is directly from him, because I actually did speak with him, and he's not. There's no way they can do anything with that.
But what I believe they've tried to do with the Slammiversary poster is put on the pictures of everybody who's basically a TNA original, and it's been there from the start. So you've got AJ, you've got Daniels, you've got Storm and Rude and Eric Young. Eric Young on a pay-per-view poster, people. It's kind of scary.
Well, this is my catch. If you watched this past Thursday, Shelley inadvertently kicked Storm in the back of the head, which cost them the match, the warm-up match. So I'm still wondering if Gun Money's not ready, then that's going to cost them the titles. Now, Robert Roode, of course, is out of action with the torn ACL or whatever it is, the elbow. Now, of course, they're going to lose the match, I'm guessing. Now, this is going to give a chance for, for British Invasion to get the titles. British Invasion and Mexican America is probably going to go off and go with their titles. And, we're going to see Shelley and Storm probably going to go at it one-on-one. And for a couple of months, they're going to feud, and then we're eventually going to see Chris Sabin and Robert Roode get brought back into the fray. That's what I'm guessing.
All right, but so you're essentially picking the British Invasion to win the titles tonight.
That's my guess. I could be wrong.
All right, well, the next match we talked about was Morgan taking on Scott Steiner.
I put this in my blog, and I'll be honest with you, this is just, a filler match. I don't think it could go either way, and I don't think it's going to be very impactful for the pay-per-view.
It's a bragging rights match.
Exactly, that's all it is.
All right, but if you had to pick, who would you pick?
I'd probably pick Morgan.
All right, the next match we talked about was Crimson taking on Samoa Joe.
This match I am looking forward to. I've become a slowly but fairly a big fan of Crimson. A lot of people have been kind of like saying that Crimson's becoming another Goldberg, and I don't see him as another Goldberg. Crimson's becoming has a lot of characteristics, but I'm really betting for Crimson.
All right, the next match we talked about.
Handy how they've always forgotten though that Crimson is the brother of Amazing Red. Amazing Red gets beaten the shit out of. Crimson goes, yeah, fuck him.
Not really, no. He's come to his age.
Yeah, a couple of weeks back, yeah.
All right, the next match we talked about, Rick, was Mickie James defending the TNA Knockouts Championship against Angelina Love.
I believe it or not, again, I think Angelina Love, if you notice, she's been getting a lot more push. Mickie James seems to be treading water. Is that just me, or is that just a mild conception?
Well, I'm going to have to interrupt you and disagree with you. I really don't think they're giving her a push with the winter storyline. It's just a freakish storyline between those two, and with the way things are going, like I said earlier, I really don't think they would put much stock into that storyline if they put the title on her tonight.
Well, all these storylines are going into each other. You had the feud between Madison Rayne and Mickie James, which then turned into a feud with Old Sky and Angelina Love, and Winter turned into a feud with Velvet Sky and ODB and Angelina Love versus Mickie James. And now I think they're trying to build to some kind of feud between Madison Rayne and Angelina Love or something, if Madison Rayne gets involved. Basically, the Sarita and Rosita, who Knockout Tag Team Championships, are being given, yeah, we don't give a shit about you, bye. All the other storylines are involving every single knockout under the sun. Even Karen, she got pushed off the stage, and just coincidence in real life, she's now getting a boob job. I don't know how that's how you recover from a fall, but...
anyway...
my boobs!
Well, Rick, your pick for the match.
My pick is Angelina Love, and I'm going to start. I totally disagree with you. I think, it's because that angle, believe it or not, is kind of like an Undertaker, a female Undertaker angle. And if I'm not mistaken, we talked about this a couple of months ago. I think that's an angle Michelle McCool could have very well done, and I think she could have gotten over with.
Oh, that's what I want to see. Winter and Angelina Love just backstage, and you can't see them, and all of a sudden you just hear from Winter, "Oh yeah."
Okay.
And then it'll be like, "What's happening behind that door?"
Oh God. Anyway, the next match we talked about, Rick, was the TNA X Division or Xtreme Championship, as Abyss coined it on the last Impact Wrestling. Abyss defending the title against both Kazarian and Brian Kendrick.
Well, I still don't know the whole Xtreme thing is. I don't know if they're changing it over, or rebranding it, or just renaming it.
Well, Sun Tzu says this is an active war, and the war is over, and the X Division is dead. So whoever Sun Tzu is, he's a nosy bastard.
So again, Is it a renaming or a rebranding? We have yet to figure that out. So, anyways, but my pick, I'm going to go with the underdog. I'm going to go with Kendrick on this one.
All right, now, ladies and gentlemen, Ralph from New York is back on the line. Ralph, you had a little bit of phone trouble there?
Yeah, my phone actually died while I was in the middle of talking, so I was like so furious that I'm connected to my charger now, so I'm fine, but I'm stuck in my room while my brother's playing Black Ops.
All right, back to what you were talking about with the last man standing match, AJ Styles and Bully Ray.
Oh, well, I was saying that, Bully Ray, everybody thought Devon might have been the golden child out of the two, but it turns out Bully Ray's really, despite his ridiculous name, I think, like, he's actually living up to it, and he's actually, not doing so bad as a heel. He's one of the only things in TNA that's kind of worth watching. And he's not, and he can put up a good feud with people, which is good, and especially he's using the fact that he's probably using the heat that he has in real life because a lot of people know him to be an asshole, and people like Devon a lot better than him, so I'm guessing he's using that as just, basically already making heat there since people already don't like him. And it works out good, and I think Mr. AJ Styles, a phenomenal one, will come out on top here and do a Styles clash, hopefully not give him a concussion like he's done to so many people.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, he is the CEO of Homicide Incorporated and the Iron Reverend Jake Slayer. Rev Jake, how you doing tonight?
Hello.
Jake, what's sick, my man?
How are you all?
We're doing just fine here. We're going through TNA Slammiversary. Before we go to your picks, Rev Jake, for the card, Rick, I want to go to you and get your thoughts about the last man standing match, AJ Styles and Bully Ray.
Well, a couple of things have been bugging me about this angle, and this is the biggest thing. AJ Styles with his neck injury, okay? A couple weeks back, maybe 3 weeks back, he gets a super power bomb off the stage through table. Awesome stunt. Hands down to both Bully Ray and AJ Styles, and I thought it was phenomenal. No pun intended. And, then he walks around with this neck brace. Okay, good. You got to sell it. And then, week after week, he starts getting, slammed with chains. He gets, spike pile drive week after week. And then, 1 week he's not wearing a neck brace. 1 week he's wearing a brace. Is he hurt or is he not hurt? Will these people please make up our fucking minds?
Well, if you remember, he suffered an injury towards the end of last year, which means he missed the big lucrative UK tour that they had in late January because he was legit injured. I think it was some vertebrae problem in his neck, and he was supposed to be out for 2 to 3 months. But then because Ric Flair had issues because he got injured himself, AJ, when he was slightly healed, managed to work in and do a couple of matches. I think the reason why he disappeared off TV after being power-bombed through the tables by Bully Ray soon after Victory Road was because they wanted to give him another 3-4 weeks off before he appeared in a non-wrestling capacity, although he did a few moves at Lockdown, just so he could finally get recoups and everything so they could have him back in a feud again, hence why Sacrifice had his match against Dreamer, which was surprisingly good, and also
so Rick, your pick for the match.
I guess if everything was going to work, I guess it would be AJ Styles will, I guess, eventually come out with the on top. I just think it was, like I said, I like the stunts. I just think it was just kind of pulled off. The whole thing was pulled off very cheap. It was done very terribly after the fact. I mean, I could see that they were trying to, make sure he, now that, actually, explained it, but they still should, let's not sell that he's hurt by showing the neck brace, because now people are like, when you walk around with a neck brace, it shows that, your neck, shows, it's supposed to show like a serious injury, and you're supposed to be like not wrestling for several weeks. And here he keeps on coming into the ring, and they keep on taking the neck brace off, and they're whipping him with chains in the back of the neck. And it's like, thus, you don't think he's going to be able to wrestle. Now here he is doing the last man standing. It goes from the realm of disbelief to the realm of stupidity. That's just my thought. But if I'll pick AJ.
All right, let's go to WWE Fan. WWE Fan, your pick for the last man standing match, AJ Styles and Bully Ray.
I already chose AJ.
Okay, well, Redneck, before we get your thoughts on the last man standing match, we've got to go ahead and get your picks in for the card and everything we talked about so far. First, for the TNA Tag Team title match, British Invasion, Douglas Williams and Brutus Magnus taking on James Storm and Alex Shelley.
I think just because of what happened on Thursday night, I have to give it to the British people.
All right, the next match we talked about was Matt Morgan taking on Scott Steiner.
Oh, wow. You know what? I'll go with Matt Morgan. I think Matt Morgan's going to get a push.
All right, the next one is the undefeated Crimson taking on Samoa Joe.
Well, Crimson's undefeated. He's still going to be undefeated. And when he's going to the ring, we can all start yelling Goldberg.
The next match is Mickie James defending the TNA Knockouts title against Angelina Love.
Oh, is Winter Snaps going to be there?
Very probably, yeah.
Oh, that's going to be a hard one to pick. I'm going to say the one with the silicone implants wins.
And the TNA X Division or Xtreme Championship, as Abyss coined it on the last Impact Wrestling. Abyss defending the title against both Kazarian and Brian Kendrick.
Yeah, I thought it was the stupidest thing in the world to put that title on Abyss. I don't know if he's going to lose, but I'd rather see Kendricks with it than Abyss. So I'm going to say Abyss is going to drop it, but I don't know which one is going to pick it up.
And now the match we're currently talking about right now, the last man standing match, AJ Styles taking on Bully Ray.
I'm going to say the white guy wins.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the next match we're going to talk about is the #1 contendership for the TNA World Heavyweight title, and Kurt Angle's Olympic gold medal is on the line. Kurt Angle taking on Jeff Jarrett, which they are calling the final battle. And I say to you, TNA and Impact Wrestling, thank you. We are sick and freaking tired of seeing Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett for months and months and months and months, and finally you're going to have it the final battle. You better be fucking right it's the final battle, and you better not do any more Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett, or I'm going to go down to Orlando, Florida myself and shoot Vince Russo right in the head. Because this angle actually has just been played out for so long, nobody really gives a damn about it anymore.
It's, you know, I didn't mind it when it happened at Genesis in like the exhibition match thing, and you could see Jarrett was being nasty, but I think it probably should have built to a big finish at Lockdown rather than Slammiversary. That being said, this match I'm not looking forward to it, but I am kind of thing. The feud's gone on for too long, but I think that because it's going to be them one-on-one, although I wouldn't be surprised if there was some interference, you are going to see a good match here. For me, given how I think the title stuff's going to go, and because of the gold medals on the line, which I think is a no-brainer, Angle is going to get the victory, keep his gold medals, become #1 contender, but then probably lose on Impact tomorrow night on the tapings, you know, which will be on Thursday. You know, he'll cash it in straight away, because from what I hear with Angle and his Olympic training that he wants to do, you know, and focus on, he's going to be making very little limited TNA and Impact Wrestling appearances between now and when the team gets finalised in, I think, April. So you'll occasionally see him in certain aspects, but it won't be week in, week out. So the pick is, though, is for the medals to stay with Angle. Because remember, the last time the medals were involved was Chris Benoit, so that means Jeff Jarrett's going to... Oh, no, that's a bit too low.
All right, well, I'm going to have to disagree with you on one thing. I think Jeff Jarrett will take him. You know, solely based on what you said about his involvement with his Olympic training. I believe if Kurt Angle really wants to devote himself to doing and being on the Olympic team this year at 43 years of age, that he doesn't want to have independently. So I figured, you know, they would have Jeff Jarrett win the match and the Olympic gold medals tonight and just have Kurt Angle off brooding for months and months and months over the loss of his Olympic gold medals. So, but that's my pick. It's going to have to go with Jeff Jarrett. Let's go with Shining Star.
I'm just seeing Jeff Jarrett in a title run again after his holding of the NWA title back in the original days of TNA.
Well, yeah, but anyway, Kurt Angle's seen his fair share as well. Anyway, let's go to the Shining Star, Rick Starr, and get his thoughts on this match. Kurt Angle taking on Jeff Jarrett with not only the #1 contendership on the line, but Kurt Angle's Olympic gold medals.
I guess we could say call the tabloids about Angle going, joining the Olympic team, and it really, I guess, it all depends on how serious he is about joining that Olympic team, whether he's actually confirmed it. Has there been a confirmation that he's joining, or is this just still a rumor?
He's training.
So he's training, so he is joining it.
Well, no, he's training to try and get in the team.
Oh, so he's not on the team yet.
The team isn't established, I think, until about April next year.
Okay, so for all we know, he can...
Apparently, from what the news story said, it's a slim to none chance, but he's holding on to that slim bit, and if he does well enough and performs well enough, he could be picked in the team. You never know.
Alright, so for right now, but that's still April. That's still 3 months away.
Mm-hmm.
So, alright, well then, you know what, then I'm going to go... I'm going to say that Angle, no doubt that I'm sure that, as both of you said, that Jarrett's going to pull an ace out of the sleeve, and that someone's going to... It's not going to be a one-on-one. Jarrett is to try to pull somebody. Probably somebody from, from Immortal. Will we see a new face? Maybe. I think there's like a 40% chance that we'll see a new face, which is not likely. I'm betting Jarrett.
Well, we have a new caller on line 4 from the 504 area code. Who am I speaking with?
Me?
Oh, James, how you doing? Well, the number's changed on here. I haven't been on here in a week. James, how you doing?
Good.
All right, James, before we get your picks or everything, let's talk to everybody else right now about this match. Ralph from New York, I want to start with you. Your thoughts on this match? #1 contendership with the Olympic medals, Kurt Angle taking on Jeff Jarrett.
Well, first of all, thank God this feud is coming to an end. Can I get an amen to that?
Amen, brother.
It was a waste of time because it was so damn one-sided. I mean, and I haven't checked up on it lately. Has it been still one-sided as of late, too?
I think Kurt Angle in China got the win at Sacrifice over Jeff and Karen Jarrett.
Well, at least that's something, but I just wanted to end and Kurt Angle to win then, since it hasn't been that one-sided, and I'm really disappointed in Jeff Jarrett because the fact being that he goes on interviews saying that the creative gets blamed when things go wrong, but the wrestlers get all the credit when things go right. I look at it as, hey, the creative put out some badass segments and they get the credit for it. But if they put out some bullshit like what they've been putting out in TNA, I think they should take all the heat for it. Because the wrestlers are just doing their damn jobs. I mean, what the hell? I don't like it how...
Ralph got a pretty good point right there.
Yeah,
Ralph
he's on this interview from The Sun. Like, you check out WrestleCast if any of you subscribe to it. And the last interview had Kurt Angle on it, but WrestleCast, he's been like that. Hold on a second.
All right, while he's doing that, WWE fan, quickly, your pick for this match, Kurt Angle taking on Jeff Jarrett with the #1 contendership of the TNA World Heavyweight title on the line, as well as Kurt Angle's Olympic gold medals.
I'm going to have to say Jeff Jarrett, and I'm wondering what Jeff Jarrett's going to do with the gold medals if he wins with Karen.
Well, who knows?
Perhaps that's Karen Angle's boob job.
Or for Karen Angle to say to hurry up, to wrap it up in bed.
You get the gold medal for performance. Shame.
Yeah. He doesn't. He gets a spirit performance, but the spirit doesn't mean jack shit because you don't get anything for it. So I'll leave it at that. No, I will say, as for Karen Angle, I'll say this. I ain't saying she's a gold digger, but she ain't messing with well, you know the rest. But but in all honesty, I mean, doesn't she look like one? Seriously? And I can't stand the fact that they totally put that stuff out on TV. Like, at first, that would have helped it so much, but they just dropped the ball with it, and I'm so pissed off. That was one of the things that would have turned me back onto TNA if they hadn't taken that direction it did. Once I realized they were going to bring the kids into it, then I was like, no, that's kind of disrespectful and spineless to do it. Because, I mean, you go on TV and you bring your kids and you exploit them with that. That's not the right way to go about it. And, I mean, Kurt Angle's not got to... And I heard that, and I found out Kurt Angle from this new interview that he's got a new wife and they're going to have the children soon. They're expecting a child. So, you know, I wonder if that's going to be a way to write him off TV too. But, yeah, I wonder why Jarrett thinks he's an MMA fighter now too. It's freaking stupid. I bet if you kick him on the side of his knee, the next thing you know, he can't wrestle for the rest of his life, and that'll be good. Because it's about time TNA starts looking more serious. I mean, if the owner pops up with the world title, then they kind of makes it look worthless.
All right, Ralph makes really good points on there. We've been sharing the same sentiments as you about the use of the kids in this storyline between Kurt Angle and Jeff Jarrett for months now. We've been saying that it was wrong for TNA to, even if Jeff, Kurt, and Karen agreed to it, it's still wrong. We in the wrestling community, wrestling fans, or wrestling enthusiasts, as we like to coin ourselves here on WGS Radio, we totally disagreed with the move. We didn't think it was a good move. You know, we didn't need to have the anyway. Well, on that note, let's go to the CEO of Homicide Incorporated, the Iron Reverend Jake Steiner. This match, Kurt Angle versus Jeff Jarrett, with not only the #1 contender to the TNA World title on the line, but Kurt Angle's Olympic gold medals.
What? Rey Mysterio's in another pay-per-view? What the hell? No, you know, I don't care that they're wrestling again, but who decided they're putting Kurt Angle's gold medals on the line? I mean, okay, if his gold medal's on the line, what's on the line for Jarrett? Isn't there, you know, what's up with that?
With this Immortal thing's playing out, if Angle wins, he gets #1 contendership to the TNA title.
Oh.
But then again, if Jarrett wins, he gets #1 contendership.
And the medals.
And he gets in the medals, so...
Yeah.
I don't see... I mean, who decided they were putting the medals on the line anyway? Jarrett?
Yeah, Jarrett and... Yeah, Jarrett...
Perhaps if Angle wins, Jeff Jarrett...
Oh, God.
I really hope Karen broke her ass falling down those stairs.
You know why she did that? She did that because she wants to go have a boob job, and that's what's going to happen. She's gonna have a boob job, Rev.
Oh, another one.
Wow.
Yay.
I wish Randy Orton would give her a well-placed punt to the head. I don't condone wife beating, but in that case, I would like to see Randy Orton just kick her head straight off into a field goal of a nearby football field, and you see the referee say, "It's good, it's good."
Touchdown, Impact Wrestling.
What you're saying is business as usual. Karen's having another boob job. I'm smoking more weed, and Billy's going to have another sausage. So what's different?
If Karen Angle's getting a boob job, does that mean, is she going to be, like, posing for Playboy or anything?
Oh, my God.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mike Kielbasa's not coming near Karen Angle after that.
I mean, right now, she's getting a boob job. I mean, for crying out loud, her boobs is already hanging halfway down the stage when she's walking down. How much more does she need?
Will we classify her as a MILF or just a gold digger?
Probably both, but she lost the MILF quality after a bit. I mean, going from Kurt Angle to Jeff Jarrett, that's a huge downgrade, big time.
Well, actually, I think there's another word you're looking for called whore.
Your trope for this match would be?
I'll go with Angle.
All right. Now we're going to go to James. James, the first match we talked about tonight, just give us your picks for it, is the TNA Tag Team title match. The British Invasion, Douglas Williams and Brutus Magnus taking on James Storm and Alex Shelley.
That's a hard one. That's a toss-up. I think I give it to the British Invasion.
Okay, the next match we talked about was Matt Morgan taking on Scott Steiner.
While we having this match, I give it to Matt Morgan.
A lot of people have been asking that tonight as Crimson takes on Samoa Joe.
Another match while we having it, Samoa Joe.
Really? You don't see any points of the match of Crimson and Samoa Joe?
I mean, I may understand, but then it's just the storyline's kind of confusing me a little.
Okay. All right, well, Mickie James defends her TNA Knockouts title against Angelina Love.
Mickie James, and if Angelina wins, I protest TNA for a week.
One thing I want to
country.
One thing I want to see before the match starts is like a lesbian kiss between Angelina Love and Winter. Anyway,
Winter has the weirdest angles. Have you guys noticed that? Like she had an incest angle in WWE with Paul Burchill, and now she's got some angle where she's drugging up some chick. What the hell's up with the world?
Oh, she's there's a word for that. It's called freak. Anyway,
next week we're gonna have naked oil wrestling.
Oh, did I tell you I was one of those freaky guys?
Yeah, the only bad thing about the naked oil wrestling, it's not going to be women, it's going to be men. Anyway.
No. That's like Black Machismo on Sunday. That's black tie match.
All I have to say to you, Billy, in your abuse of power is this.
Sweet cream on an ice cream sandwich! What in the blue hell are you doing?
I don't know. As we, James, we go to you. TNA X Division, or as Abyss coined it, the Xtreme Championship. Abyss defends the title against both Kazarian and Brian Kendrick.
I think I see Abyss retaining the title.
The next match we talked about was the last man standing match between AJ Styles and Bully Ray.
Interesting. I get to AJ Styles.
And right now, the match we're talking about, Kurt Angle, Jeff Jarrett with Kurt Angle's Olympic gold medal, no one contendership to the TNA World Heavyweight title on the line.
I understand the no one contendership, but why the medals? I give it to Kurt Angle.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get to the last match of the night. Oh.
Manager jump on the show.
Luckily, it's a thing to say that I have received a message, and it's not from a general manager. It's from Al Saxby. He's been on the show back in the day. He tried to make it in tonight, but couldn't make it. But he's given me his picks for the matches on Facebook. He says for Morgan and Steiner, he picks Morgan. British Invasion and Storm and Shelley for the titles. He says Gun Money is going to win out, or Beer Guns, or whatever the hell you want to call them. Or that we call them just out of spite's sake. Robert Roode and Chris Sabin. Just really.
Beer Guns doesn't sound so bad though. Get hit with a gun full of beer. That sounds like a good time right there.
He took a while to deliberate on the Crimson Samoa Joe, but he went X Division title, he says Abyss is going to retain against Kendrick and Kazarian. AJ's going to come out as the last man standing against Bully Ray. Angelina Love with Winter will be doing more lesbian kissing when she wins the Knockouts title. And Kurt is going to be the #1 contender and keep his medals. And he says that China's going to get involved. Apparently, somehow I doubt it, especially after the old situation with the
clitoris.
All right, now that we've gotten that out of the way, it's time to take a look at the TNA World Heavyweight title match. The Icon Sting defending the title against Mr. Anderson. Now, over the past few weeks, we've seen Mr. Anderson do a heel turn and mock Sting in his efforts to get into his head. And
really looked like Sting from the 1980s as well.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. But will Sting drop the title to Mr. Anderson tonight? For some reason, I don't see that happening. I believe the TNA really has a lot of stock in Sting and what they're doing with him as champion, because I believe they want to probably progress him to progress the ongoing feud Sting is having with Hogan and Bischoff, with them kind of leading the charge for Immortal. So I really see Sting retaining against Mr. Anderson, whether it be a clean win or Mr. Anderson gets himself disqualified in some fashion or somebody interferes. But my official pick is Sting to retain. Actually, let's start with you. Your thoughts for Sting defending the team heavyweight against Mr. Anderson?
Well, it's finally good to see Mr. Anderson actually as a number one contender in a title match, given how many number one contendership matches he's had in the past 2 months, which I think is about 4.
And he's won all of them.
Getting his shot. It's another match that I'm actually looking forward to.
For me, it's a tough one to call. I wouldn't be surprised if they had Anderson win and then possibly Sting go again and, try and do his rematch clause Justice, because I doubt they're going to take part in Destination X. But I'm going to say that the pick is Sting to win and retain, and then because I think they might want to continue this Sting feud with Hogan, or the Sting feud with Bischoff, or try and split Hogan and Bischoff, and I somehow fear that they are really trying to build the Sting versus Hogan Pound for Glory. And if they put that as the main event, I think everybody might quiver.
Okay, what was Alfie's pick for this one, Sting taking on Mr. Anderson?
He said he'd love to see Anderson win it, but he's going to say Sting.
Okay, let's go to the Shining Star, Rick Starr, and get his thoughts on this match. The TNA World Heavyweight title on the line as Sting defends it against Mr. Anderson, the asshole.
Billy, I'm not to be, I'm right up there with you. At first, my first thoughts was, hey, what if Angle had won, and then they had given it to Anderson, because Anderson versus Angle, those two had quarrels in the past, and I think that would be a new spin-off, to redirect the Angle, the world title angle would be a great thing. But now that Sting is trying to split Bischoff and Hogan right now, that's too huge of a storyline, and just to walk away from that at this juncture, that's not in the cards. So I think right now we're going to see, unfortunately, Mr. Anderson's going to lose one way or another. I would not even be surprised if we even see help Hogan.
Let's go to Ralph from New York. Ralph, what are your thoughts about this one? The TNA World Heavyweight title on the line, and Sting, the icon, defends against the asshole, Mr. Anderson.
I like how you eloquently put it. That was a really good way of putting it. Because really he is coming off as said word, because actually no, more like a crybaby, because he was crying about his title shot a while back, and he was like, I want my title shot. I don't really care about Mr. Anderson anymore. I used to, but not anymore. The guy's taking steroids. He has poor, ring wrestling skills because apparently people can't trust him in the ring, and he gets injured too much as a result of the steroid use. I mean, I don't know what to think about him. I guess Sting, but these days they were playing hot potato with the TNA title for the past year, so I don't know what to think anymore.
So you're going to go with Sting on this one?
Yep.
All right, let's go to WWE Fan. WWE Fan, your thoughts on this match? TNA World Heavyweight title on the line as Sting defends against Mr. Anderson.
Mr. Anderson.
Really? You're going to go with Mr. Anderson?
Yeah, I'm probably just tired of his whining and complaining.
Anderson.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the CEO of Homicide Incorporated, the Iron Reverend Dick Clear, and get his thoughts on this match. The TNA World Heavyweight title on the line as Sting defends against Mr. Anderson.
God, I love lesbians, man. I love lesbians so much. Almost as much as I love my weed. You were talking about lesbians earlier.
Well, let's rephrase it. We love hot lesbians, not ugly lesbians.
Well, don't knock lesbians, man, because if you get to be friends with two of them that are like girlfriend, there's a good chance you can have a three-way with them, because even lesbians want cock once in a while. But,
to quote my friend Fernando, there is nothing like the real thing.
Oh, God.
But I gotta go with Sting on this. Sting came back. They gave him a 1-year contract, and I don't think they're gonna make him drop the title until his year's up. it until he gets Hogan in the ring one time.
Okay, and James, what about you? Your thoughts on this one? The TNA World Heavyweight title on the line. Sting defending against Mr. Anderson.
This is a really hard match to call for a pay-per-view. It's a good thing. But I think I give it to Sting. I won't be surprised if Anderson do with the title.
All right, well, right, ladies and gentlemen, that we've gone through the card, and it's time to get everyone's final thoughts. And when I say that, what do you hope to see? What do you expect to see out of TNA at Slammiversary tonight on pay-per-view? Ash, I want to start with you.
I expect this.
I like the
no, you're not.
Team theme song.
You're not.
It sounds like Jenna Jameson having sex.
You're not. You're not expecting that. Actually, you're praying for it.
No, I'm partially expecting it. I mean, considering the last pay-per-view had somebody who's now become an official apparent porn star, you know, you never know. You know, two crazy girls, crazy shit.
Say that again,
She was a porn star before. She just kind of like went back to her business. She just kind of like, you know.
No! Rick, be careful when you Google this, but Google backdoor to China.
Oh no!
She made another one, and apparently she wants to make a career of it.
I'm sorry, you know, I every time I'd rather you'll be afraid of the color yellow.
Or the color blue, as in blue waffle.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Green
That crazy Sergeant Slaughter jawline is never coming near me, ever. If I even see her near me, I'm just going to yell out rape and just going to run for the hills.
If this is a bad pay-per-view, all I'll say is, you know what, it's going to be the line to Vince
You stupid, ignorant son of a bitch, dumb bastard!
And overall, considering the last couple of TNA shows have been pretty good, I got for this one. But I wouldn't be surprised, like with some of the previous TNA pay-per-views this year, like Victory Road and Genesis and Against All Odds, that it sinks beyond recognition. But, you know, there is that, there are enough matches there to hold my interest. Not to buy the fit, but, you know.
Well, let's go to the Shining Star, Rick Starr, and get his final thoughts on TNA Slammiversary. Rick, what do you hope and expect to see out of TNA at Slammiversary tonight?
The card looks solid, but the funny thing is, there's nothing. I don't expect any new faces. I'm just expecting some good, solid matches, and that's about it. I'm not expecting anything new. Let's put it that way.
All right. All right, let's go to Ralph from New York. Ralph, what do you hope and expect to see out of TNA at Slammiversary tonight?
Well, one thing for certain, I'm hoping to see some hot knockouts at least, because, you know, the knockouts actually look very appealing as compared to the Divas. Except for Gail Kim, of course. She used to be my TNA wife back in the day. And and as for the rest of the stuff, I hope it's good. I mean, I'm gonna sit there and watch it on a certain website, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and it gives off good quality on the stream. So I'm gonna hopefully, you know, I hope to see something good, because I mean, the last pay-per-view I saw was the one where Jeff Hardy decided to get wasted. So this better be good.
Did you watch it on YouTube?
No, there's a,
Let's say you're watching it on YouTube, so then the whole YouTube live thing gets killed. Come on.
No, not even. There's this one website. I'm not going to say it out loud because you don't know if they could be listening or whatever. But there's this one website. I'll spell it out for you. MOFreeze.com. Streams all the time. It even streams the weekly shows, so you can just watch it there.
And if they are listening to us, why aren't you calling in and giving your opinion of your own product, idiot?
Oh, God. Well, anyway, on that notion, let's go to WWE Fan and get his final thoughts on TNA Slammiversary. WWE Fan, what do you hope and expect to see tonight at Slammiversary?
A pretty good pay-per-view and total hotness.
Let's go to the Iron Reverend Jake Slayer, and get his final thoughts on TNA Slammiversary tonight, and what he hopes and expects to see out of TNA tonight.
Honestly, I'm going to watch it on an illegal stream. I have a whole bunch of illegal pay-per-view streams bookmarked. I'm not shy. But I'm hoping to see a good cat fight, you know? I just love the dancing whores on TNA. You know, I mean, it's like, I was hoping to see another, Velvet Sky ODB match. That would be nice if they could slip that in. My final thought, the next stage after a blue waffle is a purple pancake, and boy, that's ugly.
Oh.
Oh my God.
As I vomit, let's go to James and get his final thoughts for TNA Slammiversary. James, again, question to everybody. What do you hope and expect to see out of TNA at Slammiversary tonight?
Is it TNA or Impact Wrestling? I'm still confused.
Both.
Okay.
Let's piss them off and call it All Wheels Wrestling.
Oh, God.
For the pay-per-view, I hope to see a good pay-per-view, and yeah, what everybody else wants, the hot ladies of the TNA.
All right, and
by the way, stage 2 after Purple Pancake is the Black Hole of Calcutta.
Oh God.
No.
You know,
can I say something really quick, though?
Sure.
I know the backstory of why TNA got the Impact Wrestling name. There's actually, I kid you not, there used to be a website called ImpactWrestling.com, and they started to blow up. They started to get big, and after a while, I guess, like after all the stuff where WWE tried to omit wrestling from everything, I guess it's for the Athletic Commission not to tax them or something, because I remember them trying to do that before. But what happened was that TNA contacted the owner. His name is Mark. I used to be a regular on the podcast over there, and they basically did a deal, and they bought the domain name off, and they bought all rights to the name. So what happened was that they decided to use the name allwrestling.com, and you could actually look it up on their site and the whole story there. And they also offer them like 3 wrestlers that they could interview over there. So it actually, I actually was part of the, it's kind of amazing that something you were a part of ends up becoming like amalgamated into a wrestling company. Well, the second biggest company right now, but not for much longer when ROH gets that TV deal, which I'm hoping and praying for. So there you go. That's how they came to get that name, because they wanted to rip WWE all the time, which I kind of am not too appealed at,
A lot of people aren't appealed at that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on that note, that brings us to the end of our Breakdown and Prediction show here on WGS Radio. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me this time. Ashley, the Shining Star Rick Star, Ralph from New York, WWE fan, the Iron Reverend Jake Slayer, and James. So, with that being said, I'm Double B Billy Boudreaux saying, worship the ground Chuck Norris walks on, or he will roundhouse kick you in the face. Good night, everybody.
GCW presents live 100% chance of pain. July 23rd at the American Legion Hall at 3319 Veteran Memorial Drive in Abbeville, Louisiana. For more ticket information, call 337-366-7480.
We are presented by www.thewrestlegamershow.com and brought to you by Nick Bondage Condoms, now in black and white. Nick Bondage Condoms, they're a chair shot in the penis.
You hear that noise?
Yeah.
That's the sound of the theme for the TNA Slammiversary pay-per-view. Sounds like nothing.